Nice, love it. Okay, so I've been feeling like we have had a lot of like experience in our own lives, and then we've been getting a lot of people asking us questions about like identity within ourselves. And I think that's something that like we have all noticed, that it's not really like this hump that you get over in life and then you're like cruising for the rest of your days. But I think it's also what you said, how it's like a daily choice. Like I think, and it's a gut check every single day. So you have to like ask yourself every day, like, what do I want most today? Like, do I want God most today? Do I want a relationship with Jesus most today? And like, and it's a question that like I have to ask myself throughout the day, like throughout the entire day. And I've like, even in this tournament, like here in Japan, like I've been, some days like reflecting on the game, and it's like, wow, I didn't even really think about God like throughout that game, And so it's like, it's okay, but like, what, tomorrow it's like, if I want to glorify God through this game, then it's like he's got to be the center of my focus at all times, even when the game is going to distract me because maybe it's a big situation or whatnot. So like I feel like identity is like this huge topic, but like it doesn't stop with us, like, and our testimonies aren't supposed to stop with us. We're supposed to share and be unashamed of them because like God gave us our stories. So like, how do you guys feel about, or maybe you're going through something right now about like how your testimony is going to be used, or like how God is going to use those fruits, or maybe even something that you've seen in the past by like sharing or trying to like, okay, what am I going to do now with finding this freedom in Christ, finding my identity in Christ? How am I going to use it to like impact other people? Because really our call is to love God and love others. It's not like about us. So just like using this freedom for God's purpose.
I feel like personally, like right now I'm going through a lot of like earning it, and like performance. Everything has been like I have to like work hard and you get what you earn, and it's transferred into my relationship with God to where like I feel like I have to go read the Bible or go do this. And I didn't think it, but like now that God's revealed it to me, like it has become sort of a work in a way to earn that relationship in a sense. And I feel like it's been like freeing that I can just like rely on his grace more so, that like instead of being obedient to him out of like I need to do this because this is for his will or whatever, it's more so out of freedom. And I feel like the grace that he's allowed me to be able to be obedient to him, it's more like freeing. I can play softball out of confidence that he's given me, and like I don't know, I just feel like there's more freedom in it for me. And I feel like there's a lot of other people that probably like struggle with needing to earn it or having to do this, and just all the rules that it seems like that come with Christianity. But I feel like there's just a lot of freedom in like living in his grace, and I feel like I'm learning a lot about that.
And we kind of talked about like keeping our identity in like tough times, but like I think there's something to be said about people who can keep their identity in Christ when like everything's going great.
Yeah.
And that's really like, I feel like when you're at a high or a low, like that's when people are watching us the most, to see how we either handle it or respond to it, and how like we can glorify God through both of those things. So I feel like that's, like that's part of the fruits that come out of having our identity in Christ. So like, I don't know if you guys have an experience of, like trying to keep your identity, because I know for me, like sometimes I'll like, even if it's related to God, like even if it's like, oh man, I've had like a couple like really great like quiet times with God, and then it's like, well today I don't need it. And kind of like you're saying, it's like, it's almost like checking it off the list instead of like, man, I just want to like keep abiding in his love and like continue to just like dwell in his presence.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's so kind of like counter what we're always taught. Like we are taught like, okay, you have to earn this, or like the more work that you do, the better that you'll be in the end or something. So I think like, even like newer Christians a lot of times are like, okay, what's a good first step? Like, should I read my Bible every day? And like, yes, you should do those things, but it's not like, I think that's even like kind of power of like testimony, like what you're saying, like even just, maybe it's like, okay, I'm just going to be real about who I am, like with someone else, and it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be like planned or something, but even just a normal conversation I think is like a good step, like of just like there's a lot of power in your personal story. And so like I could like relate with that, like what you were saying, like not having to try to like earn things or kind of plan it out, like what am I going to do to like work for God or something. Like a lot of times just kind of being real, which is actually like really hard, you know, is like a good, you know, I think we start to become more free like as we do that.
And I think like to your point of grace and like having to earn it, especially as like athletes, it's like you want to be in the lineup, okay, go show your coaches that you deserve it, or like that you like earn that spot is what we're told all the time. But in Ephesians 2:8-10, it's for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. And I think that last part about being created for good works, like we don't work for the grace, like his grace allows us to do good works, like sharing our testimony, just being real, like that's a good work in the eyes of the Lord, I think. Like I think it's just so that we can walk in that freedom and be a light to others. I think that's what's so cool about just grace, that it says it right there. It's not a result of works, but we are his workmanship for good works. So it's like kind of putting a twist on the word works, like what we think and what the world like makes us think we need to be and like earn. It's like God's like, no, you have it backwards. It's you're for good works, but you don't have to work for the grace.
Yeah, that reminds me of James 2 verse 22. It says, you see that faith was active together with his works, and by works faith was perfected. And I have a note that's like works equals active faith. Like it starts with our faith, and then, you know, like we live out of that, and then it's just like you were talking about the other day, it's like God transforms your heart, and then it's like you want to, you know, like serve him with your life, but it starts with faith. It's not like, oh, I'm going to serve him with my life, and then, you know, I can earn like his grace that proves that I have faith. You know, it's like, it's from the inside out.